Hey everyone, it's Matt, aka Tech Ranger. Today we're going to take a look at one mod in particular that actually changes the start of the game, specifically the opening scene, and it's the Opening Scene Overhaul for Skyrim Special Edition on the Xbox One. This is going to work on all Xboxes, so Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and S. This is a mod that actually adds a lot of extra dialogue and exposition to the opening scene that you go through. This video is going to be more of a breakdown of like what's different and what's the same, rather than just like, hey, go check this mod out. So if you guys want to stick around and see how it all plays out, let's take a look and see what makes this mod different as opposed to the vanilla opening of Skyrim on the Xbox.
Every man, woman, and child in Skyrim is part of this rebellion, horse thief.
I think it's safe to say that most people watching this video right now are pretty familiar with the opening scene of Skyrim Special Edition on the Xbox, PS4, whatever you're playing on. You know it, you played it thousands of times. So it would be nice to have something just a little bit different. And there's a mod, it's Opening Scene Overhaul. It's an amalgamation of stuff that was uncut, unused dialogue, and just kind of thrown in, as well as an appearance, at least in voice, from somebody that should be pretty familiar if you watched the channel before. It's Nevermore JPM, by the way. He actually voices Hardvar in the opening scene.
What the rebels like to forget is that the Empire is what's keeping the Dominion out of Skyrim.
Evermore JPM, he actually did the Faded Glory soundtrack on the Fallout 4 mod scenes. You will be familiar with him in that because we looked at that a couple times here on the channel. So first things first, you're going to want to find the Opening Scene Overhaul. I will have that linked in the description down below as well, and you will want to put that towards the bottom of your load order. The lower the better. I have a few performance mods at the bottom, so I kind of put it above that. And the first thing you'll see when you start the game is about what you'd expect, but there's a subtle difference here in the way the title card actually pushes on to the next scene in the carriage. It actually just happens on the black screen rather than over the carriage ride, which is a subtle change, but kind of cool and a little bit more cinematic. Possibly? I'm actually not sure after I'm watching it back, so let me know in the comments down below what you think about this change. Continuing with the caravan of death, heading to its destination where you're gonna get your head lopped off, you're actually going to notice quite a bit more dialogue going on between the prisoner and everybody in the actual caravan, which makes you feel a little bit more involved in what's going on, considering that you're also going to be executed with everybody else. It kind of makes sense that way. In the vanilla opening, there's some dead space. And you're also going to notice a little bit more dialogue between the Thalmor that are actually there with the Imperials that are there as well. So that is actually kind of cool. And just a side note, I had Old Kingdom armors on, so maybe that's why they're not in their Thalmor robes. So now comes to the opening, and this is the part where you're going to get your head chopped off, and you're kind of selecting your character and creating them, and then that's when you meet Hardvar.
Next in line,
You there. Step forward.
And here you'll get a little bit more exposition from the characters, and you'll see that Hardvar is kind of a cool guy, and he doesn't really fit in with the kind of Imperial mantra. This conversation ends in about the same way, with Hardvar being sympathetic to you, and the captain just not really caring. Right before we get our heads chopped off, we do hear from Ulfric, well, Mumble, and then Tullius as well, and this plays out about the same as the regular opening scene in the vanilla game. But then we get to one of the funniest parts of the vanilla version of the opening, and that's when the sentries are basically saying like, hey, what do you see when a dragon has just landed, like they're a couple seconds late.
What in oblivion is that?
Sentries, what do you see?
It's in the clouds.
So the Opening Scene Overhaul actually changes this and makes it so that everybody can see the dragon and they react appropriately.
What in oblivion is that?
Sentries, what do you see?
What's happening?
And as you kind of make your way through the town and get to safety, you're actually going to notice a couple new lines here and there, but nothing like too drastic, nothing like actually gameplay changing. Just kind of subtle like nods that make you feel a little bit more involved in the story of Skyrim before you actually get into the main game.
God! Everyone get back!
From here on out, if you want to experience the new, you're going to want to stick with Hardvar because obviously it's voiced by a new voice actor, so you're going to want to stick with him, and that is going to carry you through basically what you've done in the original vanilla version of the opening and all the way to the end. You probably noticed that Hardvar's mouth doesn't actually move, and that's actually something with the mod. The mod author said it was something with Creation Kit that was keeping the mouth from moving, so just so you know, that's going to happen in your game regardless. So when you make your way to Riverwood, you'll notice that Hardvar is still voiced by the same person, and that's actually going to carry throughout the entire game. And when I say entire game, I mean the entire time that you're with Hardvar, it will still be voiced by Nevermore JPM. Unfortunately, I had one of those nasty face glitches, and that's probably just because I've put so many mods on this save and had so many character mods that conflict, and then probably that's how I get it. Usually a hard reset will fix it, but not always. We'll take a look at that in another video. As I say a lot on this channel, that's something to keep in mind. Just a quick look at the opening scene overhaul for Skyrim Special Edition on the Xbox, and if you guys have tried this mod out, let me know what you think. I think overall the additional dialogue really adds to the beginning of the game, and I really like it. The face glitches are kind of unfortunate, but it seemed like I got rid of those with a hard reset, and of course that can vary depending on what you have in your mod load order already. So thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video or if it was helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everybody.
When I was a boy, imperial walls and towers used to make me feel so safe.
Where are they going?
To go inside.
Why? I want to watch the soldiers.